Mrs. Sheila Sri Prakash is the Chief Architect in Shilpa Architects Planners Designers Limited, an international award-winning architectural design firm headquartered in India. The firm was founded in 1979 and is acclaimed for pioneering work in environmentally and socio-economically sustainable design. Mrs. Sheila received her Bachelor's in Architecture from the School of Architecture and Planning at Anna University and completed the Executive Education Program at the Graduate School of Design at Harvard University. She is an internationally acclaimed and award-winning architectural designer and serves as one of the 16 invitees of the World Economic Forum's Global Agenda Council on Design Innovation to brainstorm, debate and propose solutions for the world's most significant problems. She is the only architect from India on the prestigious World Economic Forum. She has been named on the top 100 architects in the world by the Italian design journal Il Giornale dell'Architettura. She was also recognized by the Leibniz University Hanover in Germany, University of Valencia in Spain, and the government of Germany as one of the 7 most accomplished women in architecture from around the world. She is a charter member of the Indian Green Building Council and was also part of the Indian delegation to the US Green Building Council in 2007. She is a fellow of the Indian Institute of Architects as well. Now I kindly request you to take the stage now.
I first thank Sangam and Sheila, my schoolmate, right from school we studied together. She was a math genius even then. So I think we are very lucky to have her here. And I'm very happy to be here to share my thoughts. Well, my thoughts are a little different, but I'd like to start with a wish that I got today. A woman has strengths that amaze men. She can handle trouble and carry heavy burdens. She holds happiness, love and opinions. She smiles when she feels like screaming. She sings when she feels like crying. Cries when she's happy and laughs when she's afraid. Her love is unconditional. There's only one thing, however, wrong with her. She sometimes forgets what she is worth. So I think it was a very, very beautiful quote that came and I thought I'd share it with all of you. So, well, as an architect, urban designer, I have been working towards achieving holistic sustainability. And when I talk about holistic sustainability, all of you are aware of environmental sustainability, call it ecological sustainability. But not much is being done about socio-economic sustainability. So today I'd like to just reinstill some of the values that are so intrinsic to Indians and so invaluable today in the world context. For example, let me start off with our value systems as a family. The Indian family is losing its identity. I find that when I was much younger, I had the privilege of living with my cousins. And we used to have a great time. I do not know how it was for the elders. It must have been very difficult to manage so many children. But however, we learned how to share. So today's kids very often do not have that in them. They don't know what the lesser fortunate are and how to share. They don't know how to respect the elders because there are no elders there. We have a shortage of housing. People from the villages coming to the cities, and then they have to, get into a double-bedroomed house. So the grandparents live in the village, and the grandparents earn for the love of the family. They grow old. They very often do not have their support system in place. So this is what is happening in India. But I think this is a value system which is very, very alien to Indians. So this is something, and I find, and I thought this is the right forum to share this, because I find that more and more girls are becoming very intolerant to the family which they are getting into after marriage. You often find girls who say, if you're going to live with your parents, I'm not getting married to you. I mean, why? As people who work, we know how well we can work as a team, how we can achieve much more as a group rather than as an individual. Yes, there may be some difficulties, difference of opinions, but that is the way you have in a group study when you're doing a project in a group together. You don't agree with everybody. So how is it that you are able to tolerate those groups, but you're not able to tolerate family systems? So this is something that I wanted to leave behind today, to see whether we can do something which is truly Indian, and I think it's a very, very important part of being Indian. Then the other thing is that we always had in our families, we talked today about the haves and the have-nots. We are all very fortunate. We're all part of, if you take the population pyramid, I think it's only the creme de la creme, the top of the pyramid, who are fortunate to be educated. But I mean education, I do not personally value education, degree, but I'm talking about knowledge empowerment. So, very few really are able to use their knowledge, as Manu said and as Sumitra said, for the good of the community or for the good of the society. And what is knowledge if it is not used for the good of others? So, in this, you find that, bottom 70% of the pyramid are people who are unaware. You talk to your mates at home or your people who work for you, you find that they don't know what edible plastics are and what non-edible. I mean, even containers where you should keep food which is good, which is a good plastic, and which is non-food grade plastic, which is carcinogenic. So how do these people who have not gone to school and who have not had access to education even know about these things? It is only if they are in a position to share their life with you, with people like you, that they would be in a position to even understand and become aware of such situations. So in the olden days, we always used to have a family living in the house. And this family, those children, I remember, I had an orderly's family. My father was in the army. So the orderly's family used to come from city to city, every city that my dad was transferred. And the orderly's family is so close to me. I was the only child, and those children even come now to me, call me Akka, and I'm immediately able to empathize with them. I can't do that for somebody who is unknown to me. So you have to have this kind of a physical and an emotional connect if you really need to empathize with people who really are less fortunate than you are. And this is being sadly done away with the pressures of space, the pressures of city living, the pressures of commuting, the pressures of transportation every day. So I do believe that urban designers and architects have a great role to play in mitigating this kind of fallen systems, which is so Indian. There's another thing that I would like to say now is about our firm roots in culture. I think art and culture, ours is a very old civilization. We have inherited a legacy which is so rich. Our music, our dance, and our crafts like wood carving, stone carving, pottery. There are whole villages which are vanishing. Artisans who are languishing in abject penury, just because they do not know what to do with themselves. They know their craft best, but there are no takers for their craft. So I think engineers and architects and all professionals like you should be aware of the value of these things. See, what happens with globalization is that you have pizza, you have Subway sandwiches, and all this becomes, part of your life. But in pizzas and Subway sandwiches and Chinese food, if you are in a position to improvise and adapt and make idli Manchurian. Have you all eaten idli Manchurian? Yeah. So if idli Manchurian can be made and paneer tikka pizza can be made, and we still, want that what the Indian palate needs into these kinds of global dishes, why can't you adapt and mold your lives to include the value systems which actually differentiate an Indian from any other country? So when I meet colleagues outside, I was in a group with a lot of Germans, and they came back to me and said, what we like about India? They said that people are so friendly and are so open. You go on the road, people are willing to tell you give you directions. But this doesn't happen in every country, believe me. So these kinds of things, we say Atiti Devo Bhava. You say hospitality is so important. But do you have the time to be hospitable? Do you ever think about it? So these are value systems which have to differentiate us as Indians from other countries. We have the knowledge, we have the manpower. We only need the empowerment to kind of shine off as the, lone star leading the world. There is another thing as women, when you set out to do a profession, believe me, it's very difficult. Your mother will come and say, hey, ஒரு நாள் leave போட பரவாயில்ல, எனக்கு வயிற்று வலியா இருக்கு, நீ leave போடு. Will she say that to her son? No. There was an architect in my office who was asked to take off. She was asked to take off from office for 6 months. What's happening? To take care of her sister's child. I was, aghast, and I'm very unhappy.
Excuse me. I request everyone to switch off their mobile phones. We are having some interference.
Shall I continue? Yeah. So I wonder whether the parents would have the temerity to ask their son to take off 6 months from work, from a career, not only work, it's a career, to take care of the sister's child. I'm not saying be inhuman, help, definitely. But I think career is very important. And there are certain compromises that you have to make. But I'm sure being good planners, you can plan your day better. You can spend quality time, and you can always achieve things like Sumitra was saying. I think we are used to multitasking. Mother was saying we are used to multitasking. Yes, women can multitask. Cooking is not very difficult. It can be done. Children, taking care of the children and giving them the right values can be done. You need not forsake your career for this. So with this, I would like to tell girls that I think, youngsters generally, especially girls, are very sensitive, very intuitive by nature, and are really very good team builders, and are able to adapt very well within a work environment. So please do not give up your career. Hold on. Be patient. Have no guilt complexes that you're not doing enough for your family. I am sure that even if you spend 2 hours with your family, it would be equivalent to what some other woman spends, 10 hours with her family. So please, I would like to tell you all this and sign off with this and say that be Indian and don't forget your value systems.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I request our chairperson once again to present Mrs. Sheila with a memento.